How to transfer a drawing onto fabric and fabric painting it. I'm going to be using these pens and I'm going to be transferring the drawing onto fabric with them. Let me show you how. The fabric I'm going to be using for the fabric painting is a canvas, and I love working with canvas. This is what we're going to be fabric painting. So just trace around all the parts that you want. And then once you do that, you'll be ready to go to the next stage. Now I have all of my drawing traced, I am now going to transfer the drawing onto fabric. So I have my pressing mat here. I'm just going to put my canvas on top of my pressing mat, and what I have done here is I have stuck my design with some painter's tape at the top here. So when I transfer the drawing, if I need to double check to see whether it's been transferred or if I still need to do a couple of areas, then I don't move this paper. It gets put in exactly the same spot, so it won't move on me. So that's just a tip for you there. So with a dry iron, we are just going to press. Now don't move the iron about, you just press in. We're transferring the design over. So just give it a couple of hot presses and then we'll move it back and check that there's a design on the fabric. Now I'm seeing this at the same time as you're seeing it. Let's see how well this is transferred. Oh wow, that is really vibrant. So I'm just going to put it back down. You can see it. Well, I kind of don't need to, but I'm just going to go over it again, just in the places where it hasn't picked up the ink. I'm pretty impressed with that transfer of a drawing. As you can see, it will mirror image. So if that is a bother to you, make sure that the image is already reversed before you actually pen it out. I'm not really that bothered that it's reversed on this fabric here. So let's get on and do some fabric painting. Now I do like to work with the Derwent Inktense pencils, and I do have some new fabric medium that I'm going to be trying out. The first thing I did when I got my Inktense pencils was created a whole chart for myself. This is what they look like before they have any fluid put on them, and this is what they look like afterwards, and that's why they're called Inktense. They're made with a pigment and they are so like intense with their colouring once they hit that fluid on your fabric, or you can also use these on paper. So I want to make this design super cheerful and bright, so I'm going to be fabric painting with this apple green. It's really quite vibrant. So I generally don't mix my fabric medium with water. Let me know what you do. And I'm just going to pour it into this like little palette thing here, so I can just dip in it when I need it. I'm just going to start on this flower, well, this leaf over here, and I'm just going to come in and you kind of just do lines going in. That's going to be the easiest, and obviously the more pigment that you lay down, the more vibrant it's going to be. And obviously you can come in with like different tones of green and make it a bit more shadowed. Watch what happens when we go over this and start painting this fabric with the medium. Have you seen? It starts to activate the pigment on them Derwent Inktense pencils. And you kind of need a firmer brush. I think this one's a bit too light here. And I just go over this green here. I do like to applique, but I'm really getting into the fabric painting. Let's just go in and do all of the leaves here. And then this one's got a stem. Let's just do his stem. I am really just impressed with how this has transferred a design. It really is going to open so many doors when it comes to transferring a design onto fabric. And let's just get that paintbrush and then come in with that fabric medium. Now, some people do use aloe vera gel, but I didn't really have much luck with it. I prefer to use the fabric medium myself, but it's totally up to you. And this fabric medium is really good. It's better than the other one that I was using. So I'll put a link in that description box down below so you can see all the details. Just the colour is amazing. So I'm just going to come in and start fabric painting this flower. So one thing to bear in mind with these transfer pens is they are permanent. And as you can see, they produce quite a thick line when they transfer. They're kind of a thick nib. So this isn't something that's going to be able to wash out, but it's going to be great for what I want to use, because after I've finished fabric painting, I am going to thread paint. It's a lot of painting. I'm going to thread paint the design, and then I'm not going to see these black lines. They are just going to become invisible through like the thread painting. So this is a great new world for me. I'm really quite excited. I'm going to do this other one the same colour. So just fabric paint around your whole design, and then we come in later on with that fabric medium. And like I said, you can build up the colours, but as for tutorial, I'm just going to keep it just a basic one colour fabric painting design. Again, just come in with the fabric medium and activate that pigment, and it just makes that colour pop. Now I'm going to continue fabric painting this design, and then we're going to go over to the sewing machine and start thread painting. This is what the design looks like so far. So let that fabric paint dry. It's not going to take too long. We haven't saturated it, and then we can take it over to the sewing machine. This is my Baby Block Soprano, and I have her all set up for free motion quilting. I have a Microtex 9014 needle in the sewing machine, and I always do my thread painting with a black thread. So I have black thread in the top needle and black thread in the bobbin. Now all I'm going to do now is go around this design with my needle and thread. If you have any questions for me, just leave them in that comments box down below. And I always find that going over my design at least 3 times, maybe it's an OCD thing, I'm not quite sure, but it always looks really good and sketchy. I really like that look. So I'm going to keep on doing this and I'll let you see the finished design in just 1 second. That was my video on how to transfer a drawing onto fabric and fabric painting it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.